To be honest with you, I wouldn't see NAFTA. I wouldn't mind seeing NAFTA, where you'd go by a different name, where you make a separate deal with Canada and a separate deal with Mexico, because you're talking about a very different two countries.
All right, here to help me explain what is in this new preliminary agreement, remember that's what I'm calling it, is Austan Goolsbee, former chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors for President Obama, currently a professor of economics at the University of Chicago. Austan, the president this morning indicated he's getting rid of NAFTA. Canada's not in this deal. This is the U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. And then he got the Mexican president on the phone who kept talking about NAFTA and kept talking about Canada and really looking forward to having Canada in this whole thing. So they don't seem to be on the same understanding about what this thing is they've agreed to.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that it's really much of anything. I mean, as you know, Ali, what I usually say is every day we don't have a trade war is a good day for the economy. And today we didn't have a If Donald Trump wants to do a small, meaningless adjustment to one sector within NAFTA and first talk to Mexico, well, that's fine. If that keeps him from ranting and raving and starting a trade war, then we should all clap politely and say, oh, good job, Mr. President, and just move on to the next thing.
Right. The stock market responded well because I think they haven't seen since February when all this nonsense started that, oh, OK, maybe there are things that this president can do that aren't trade war-ish. The deal doesn't look bad, but as you said, it deals with basically one sector, the auto sector. And it's a small bit of what Trump said he would get if he negotiated with one country as opposed to negotiating with Canada and Mexico. So it's not bad, but it's okay.
It's not good. I mean, it's just a couple of little crumbs. But just to put in context, both Canada and Mexico agreed to far more expansive things that were in the U.S.'s favor to become part of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. If they had signed the Trans-Pacific Partnership, they would have made much more significant concessions than this only in the auto sector thing that they're talking about right now.
What do you make of the few concessions that are in there? For instance, the idea that 40 to 45% of the parts that are going to be made to make it a North American car have to be at a minimum. Does that mean Mexicans will earn more, or does that mean more plants will stay in America?
Well, I mean, let's set aside the whole thing of this still needs to be negotiated, the details, and then still needs to be voted on. Let's say all of that happened.
By Mexico and America, and if Canada's involved, by Canada.
You know, what we've seen with kind of international agreements of this form where you try to put in very specific one sector deals like that is accounting gimmickry. So I would not be surprised at all if in a way they called it raising the wages in Mexico. In a different way, they split the firm into two and they say, oh, no, this firm's paying $16 an hour to the two managers. It was that other firm that's paying less. I think the original NAFTA lowered tariffs on thousands of products. I mean, affected hundreds of industries.
You mean the NAFTA that's the worst deal that was ever negotiated, according to the president?
What he said is the worst deal. Yeah. I got the sense that maybe the stall on the phone was the Mexican president kind of calling his friends and saying, whoa, you mean at the end of the day, Donald Trump was willing to sign a deal asking us to do almost nothing? He's trying to take it as fast as possible. Like, look, let's just sign it and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, it does seem that this is not as big a thing as the president wanted people to think, and that it doesn't actually do away with NAFTA. Austan, good to talk to you as always. Thank you, Austan Goolsbee.
Great to see you again.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.